The following is paid programming.
It's time to talk taxes.
New friends, new opportunities, new partners. EG Tax.
It's Ask the Tax Lady with Esther Gulius and EG Tax on News Radio 930 WBEN. To reach Esther now, call 803-0930. Toll free at 1-800-616-9236. And cell calls are free at star 930. And now, live from the WBEN studios, it's Esther Gulius.
Hey everybody, this is the Tax Lady, and this is our hour to talk about taxes and getting ready for next year and financial things and things that you ought to do, and we're going to complain about some of the things that may not be going right. Maybe you're getting letters from the IRS. Maybe you're getting ready to file your extension that's due October the 15th. Whatever has to do with your taxes and money, give us a call. 632-7886 is our phone number at the office if you need us, because you don't want to talk online, but we'd love you to talk on the radio. 803-0930, 803-0930. Star 930 on the cell phone, and I got joined in studio with Tiff and Chris, Tiffany Fabian and Christopher Fabian.
Hello, Esther.
Hello, Christopher. Hey, Tiff.
Hey, Tiff.
Hey there, Esther.
What were you doing, roller skating down the hall?
No, I was asking Frank what time the news was today.
3:30, yeah. Okay, well, let's talk about, by the way, it's really nice out, isn't it?
Oh, it's 88 degrees.
It must be July. This is the July we didn't have.
It is. I've talked to people, and they said they used their pool more this week than they have all summer.
Isn't that something?
Yeah,
anyway.
But then there's some people I walk by their house and they have it covered up. So
Yeah.
Because you would think.
By now you would want to.
Exactly.
Think. Anyway, I was, in case anybody knows that I have a house down in Marco Island, and thank God it is all standing, and there's some damage, but not damage that the house is not flooded, thank God. But my girlfriend lives in the Keys, and I went to her house this week to look at it, and I will tell you, if anybody has a heart for people that have lost everything, I'm talking everything. Their truck they found under bushes. It was completely flooded out. He loves to fish. He's a fisherman. Their fishing boat is turned upside down on top of debris, under debris. Their entire downstairs of their house was gone. It's unbelievable. Their neighbors, some of their neighbors' houses are like leaning on the side. It's just unbelievable. So again, if you think that you'd like to go volunteer, we were at her church the other day, and they said they could use some hands. So if anybody's a contractor, you want to organize something, you can contact us through my website at egtax.com, and we will put you in contact with the Matthews down they're right by Cujo Key. So they sure could use help. I don't even have words to describe what it looked like. So I wanted everybody to know that. Okay. All right, let's talk about tax school, right, Chris? We're going to switch gears.
Yep, tax school, starts in about a little under a month. Great way to learn from A to Z about taxes and stuff you didn't even want to know.
And it's tax deductible, and it really would help you in your own taxes, but we really hope to get entry-level tax accountants who we will train in a 4-year program, and it's absolutely a great way to know about what happens with your taxes. So when the politicians are talking, you go, that's not right.
Yeah, let's get rid of these credits and do this or do that. You'll say, wait a minute, let's really take a look at this.
Yeah, so, it's wonderful to understand what a tax bracket is, who's in what bracket, how you get in a bracket, should you be in that bracket, what's the brackets all about, and all the credits, and the classes are, really, they're adult classes.
Right.
Right. It's for adult learners. It could be as young as somebody 19, 20 out of high school, but it's for adult learners. I know also the online version is geared towards busy people who have lots to do, and it really makes sense for them.
Yep. All right, our phone number is 803-0930, 803-0930, star 930 on a cell phone. And this week's subject, we always have a subject, but you can get off a subject, but we thought we'd talk about do this, not that, right? And because what we find is People will do that rather than this because they think this is what makes sense. But what they're doing is shooting themselves in the foot, so they end up with paying more taxes than they should. But had they done that, they would have saved paying taxes altogether, or would have paid at a much lower rate, right?
That's right. Hey, I also want to announce that we have a new franchise owner, and he's going to be opening in Lewiston, New York. So I'm so excited. His name is Dave, and he's a really nice guy, and he's a father of 4, and we're just so excited to have him on board. And so I just wanted to put that out there.
Welcome, Dave, to Lewiston. So all you people up there in Lewiston at the Peach Festival, look for EG Tax. Will be in your neighborhood.
That's right.
So let's talk about what you should not do as an employee. You know, the first thing I had, and I didn't put it on our little cheat sheet, was what people should do is change their W-4 at work. Why should they do that?
Don't get a big refund. Use your money all year, because right now the federal and New York State, they delayed people's refunds. There's people who are still looking for their New York State refund for this year.
So let's say that you're somebody that got a $5,000 refund last year. That means in effect you're sending them over $400 extra a month that you should not be. That's $400 that you don't have to live on. So if you change your W-4, if you do that, you change your W-4, then what this is, you're going to get your refund as you earn it, right?
That's
right. That makes sense.
And instead of sitting around all summer or right after spring, you file your return saying, oh, I need my money, where's my money? And they're sending you all these letters so that they can double check to make sure that they're going to send you your money. You've already got your money.
Yep, you've had it throughout the year, and you don't have to sit there and wait on it and check online, where's my refund? It's in your pocket.
Right. So the first thing you should do is change your W-4. Will we help people with that?
Yes, we will, definitely. No cost. Come in. We'll do a...
well, you don't even have to come in. You can call us.
Call us over the phone.
And we'll help you to change your W-4. You give it to your employer. Your employer then gives you more money. How's that for a good idea?
Yeah.
Right?
I mean, most people out there who claim like single zero have already paid in more than enough for the whole year. So what they're paying in now, they're just going to get back.
And the other thing is, it doesn't feel like it's fall because it's so warm, but you get extra money for the holidays. So you won't go into debt. So number 2, you won't use credit for holiday gifts, for Christmas gifts. And number 3, you're going to get your refund up front. So it is a really good thing to do.
That's right.
Correct? Well, why don't we go to the phones here, and we'll talk to line 1. Hi, I'm Esther Gulius. How can I help you?
Hello.
Hi.
Hi, this is Frank from Orchard Park.
Hey, Frank. How you doing?
Good, thanks. I don't know if you can answer this for me, but I owned a lot, and I built a house on it. I just got my certificate to move in August. I moved in. And so I'm paying my first bill, the school tax was based on the price.
On the vacant land.
You're right.
Right.
I'm wondering when do they catch up to you as far as the full value of the house?
Generally, it's the next year will be when they will do a full assessment on the house. But that first year, they're assessing you on a vacant lot. So you get a deal the first year, especially on a new build. And then next year they will go and assess you on the cost of the house.
And then I wanted to say, Chris and I got a surprise in the mail last weekend. We got our New York State assessment refund for the Star in our mailbox last weekend. So that was...
Well, Frank's got to go and apply for the Star in the city, right?
Right.
Yep. You go online to New York State.
Do I have to apply for that? Because I had it in my last...
No, on your new house you have to apply.
Oh.
Right through New York State's website. You can't, are you over 65?
No.
Okay, yep. Then you have to go to New York State's website, and that's where you apply for the Star now.
Okay, very good.
All right, why don't we reiterate that for people that are listening? So there's been a change in how you get your Star exemption on your school tax bill, and that's done one of really 3 ways, right? If you just bought the house, you have to do what Chris just said. Go to the city and apply.
Go
for the
to
STAR
New York
program.
State's website.
New York State, excuse me, and apply online. If you already lived there before, you don't have to do anything.
Correct.
If you're a senior, I think they make you
Go to the
reapply
town.
every year
Right.
through
Go to
the
the
town.
town.
And that's it. So there's one of three ways. And so if you just purchased a home this year, you want to make sure you go to New York State website to apply for the STAR program. If you need help, EG Tax will help you.
Definitely.
Right?
Yes.
All right, let's do another this, not that. Employee business expenses. What you want to do is submit your receipts if you're an employee using your vehicle, or you're paying for lunches, or you're an outside salesperson, and they say to you, we'll pay you a flat amount, or you can submit your receipts and get reimbursed dollar for dollar. Why is it better to submit the receipts?
Because your reimbursement is tax-free.
And you won't have to pay tax on it. And the other way, you would have to write it off on the itemized deduction 2106, and you might not even be an itemizer. So the way that
and the flat amount that they pay you is taxable.
Right, and then
So
you
if
could...
they're giving you $10,000 and you're in the 25% bracket, you're going to pay $2,500 in taxes on that money. And if you can't itemize, or you can barely itemize, then you're shooting yourself in the foot.
Or let's not forget AMT, where you're going to pay 26% of your income.
That's exactly right. Exactly right. All right, now let's go back to the phones, and we got Kathy. Hey, Kathy, how can we help you, my dear?
Okay. Esther, I hope you can help me.
Going to try.
We already froze our credit because of Equifax
There you go.
in all three bureaus. Anyway, do we have to worry about tax fraud? And if we have...
We all have to worry about tax fraud. I mean, you won't know until you file your return. They didn't steal your identity last year, did they, Kathy?
No.
So you won't know until this year. When you file your, obviously you'd want to get your tax return in as quickly as possible without it affecting all your receipts and everything. And then when you file your return, if it rejects because it's already been filed, that means that somebody used your information to file a fake tax return.
Oh, so I can't do anything?
No, there's nothing you can do preemptive.
you can't freeze the IRS.
Yeah, you can't freeze the IRS.
Unfortunately, but good thought, but you can't. And so what Esther was saying is, last year when you filed your return, did you get a notification from the IRS that somebody had stolen it? And your answer was no. If you had, the IRS going forward will give you a PIN number to use, but they don't do anything preemptive.
Oh, I see. Hey, I just was wondering about that.
Yeah. And just, again, for people that don't know what Kathy's talking about, there was a big credit breach with Equifax. And really it was 2 months ago, and they just kind of released it last week that there was millions and millions of people's personal identification that was hacked. And so you want to make sure, and I will tell you, they said mine was, Tiff and Chris, they thought yours was, right?
Yeah.
And so they will give you for 1 year free LifeLock. I suppose that's small compensation to pay for losing, having your identity stolen. But the only thing you can do is monitor your credit yourself using LifeLock, or you can go in and freeze your credit so that nobody can access an increase in credit without you voluntarily changing it back to whatever you want it to be. So freezing your credit is a great idea, and Kathy, I'm glad you did that.
Nope, we lost her.
Oh, we lost her.
Yep.
All right, so that's important for people to know, right?
Yes, definitely.
All right, doing this and not that.
Chris says we should take
Frank
a break.
says we need to take our break.
I have to shut up. Esther got to shut up. We're going to take a short break. 8030930, 8030930, star 930 on a cell phone. We'll see you on the other side. We're going to take a short break.
Here comes the sun, doo-doo-doo. Here comes the sun. I say it's all right.
And here comes the sun in
There's a
September,
lot of sun.
right?
I know.
In September.
I know my daughters are going to the Bills game tomorrow, and I said bring plenty of suntan lotion.
Sunblock.
I'm telling you, who would think? But anyway, we'll take it. Even though July was rainy. June was rainy. We'll take it in September. I bet you the kids are complaining going to school in the heat. All right, I'm Esther Gullius, the tax lady, 8030930, 8030930, star 930 on our cell phone. And we have Mike from Lackawanna who's been waiting. Hi, Mike.
How you doing, Esther? I got a question that involves the last two callers.
Yeah, wow.
Continue on that.
Good.
If somebody does steal your tax return, can you get it back?
Oh, yeah. I mean, I'm not saying that it's fun to do. It's not a fun process. And I had one client last year that took a year for them to get their money back.
Yeah, they don't steal your refund. What they actually do, Mike, is they file a fake return under your Social Security number.
Make it a glorious return.
Yeah, like six-figure refunds.
Yeah.
So usually what they do, let's say in your situation, you're a retired guy, no kids, maybe you're single, and normally you would just have your Social Security and your pension and your standard deduction, and away you go, and you maybe break out even or get a $200 refund. What they do with your information is they make you might be married with 4 kids and you got a part-time job, and this is all made up, right? Because the IRS doesn't really know what the real things are until they match the return with what they have on file. And they might say that you're working and you have children, you're supposed to get an earned income credit, and kids went to college, and they got a refundable education credit, and they might have a fake $7,000 or $8,000 refund. The IRS will, the first guy that files a return they're going to give that refund to that first person. Then what you do is when you find out your information was stolen, you file the correct return, you call the police department, you let the Internal Revenue Service know, you file the report with them, then you send in the tax return by paper, and then they manually process that return, and you will get your money, but it may take a while.
I can tell you, if this occurs to you, you have to do an affidavit with the IRS. And I can also tell you that a few years ago, the IRS enacted a new program. There's a medical doctor I was helping the other day, his wife. And if they think that your return is fake, they'll hold it up until you verify that it's really you. And this medical doctor had such high withholdings, they put him in that pool. It wasn't that somebody had stolen his identity, but the IRS enacted this new program. Another reason you should change your withholdings.
That's true.
Yeah.
But here's the thing. If the return is sent electronically and it rejects, that's when you know that your identity was stolen from your tax return if you hadn't filed it, right? So, but good question. Does it help you, Mike?
Second part, star rebate goes off your tax return. Got behind in tax returns. Do I totally lose that senior star rebate if I don't get my tax in on time?
You have to prove it.
Yeah, you would have. Yeah, you would have to go to your town and ask them that one. I know, City of Buffalo. The City of Buffalo made people file tax returns even though they didn't have to file a couple years. So I think you would have to file to get the enhanced star.
Right, but the whole thing is get it done, and we specialize in doing multiple year returns.
We do.
Just get her done, and you'll get your star rebate, which is so important.
And
okay?
I think part of the reason we specialize in it is our prices are so economical. I just want to say that.
Well, it's true, but I mean also, we don't want to be judgmental. Nope. We understand when somebody hasn't filed a return, there must be a reason, and you want to help somebody over that reason. Sometimes they're just afraid.
Yeah.
Right. And so, that's part of what we want to help them to do. I'm Esther Gullius, the tax lady, 8030930, 8030930, star 930 on the cell phone. And I think we have Fran from Clarence. Hi, Fran.
Hi. I have a question. I need you to confirm or deny this. We've been enjoying America's Got Talent, and we saw that a 12-year-old won $1 million.
Yeah, she's such a sweetie, isn't she?
Years ago, somebody had told me that before you start paying income tax, that you have a choice not to pay income tax. First of all, is that true?
All right. That goes way back. There was this debate that said that it was unconstitutional to make somebody file a tax return. And so what this group of people would say that you might have to file the return, but you have the right to withhold information because they have no right to compel you to divulge information about yourself. Well, the thing is, it is true. You don't have to divulge information about yourself. You have to file the return, but if you want to reduce your liability, you would voluntarily let them know that you're married, let them know that you have a child in college, let them know that you have dependents, let them know that you have a house, let them know all these things. And so we have a voluntary income tax situation where we volunteer to give information about ourselves to reduce our liability. But the taxes are, if you don't file, then, and you're filing those kind of frivolous returns, there's all kinds of penalties and jail time and things of that nature.
And then they step in and seize your paycheck and your pension and your Social Security, and they file their own tax returns.
That's right.
And
so
bring this up because in the case of this young lady, who I'm assuming she's never filed, I mean, going.
But she's going to file this year, though.
By the way,
choice.
she's only going to get hate to say it like this, it's $40,000. No, it's $25,000 for 40 years.
That's how they.
That's how they get their million.
And so, in that case, she'll have a standard deduction and a personal exemption, and so she might pay $1,500, $2,000.
And the sad part is, it's going to hurt her parents' tax return.
And the thing is, Fran, she's never filed before, but this year she's going to get a 1099 from the agency, from America's Got Talent. So the IRS is going to get a copy of it, and if she doesn't file, she's going to get a nasty gram says file a return. If not, we'll file one for you.
Right.
That was why I asked the original question.
But she's a talented young lady, isn't she?
Oh, wait, do you want to put him on hold? Do you want to hold on, Fran?
No, that's good, Fran. So thanks for calling. I'm Esther Gulias, the tax lady from EG Tax. 8030930, 8030930, star 930 on your cell phone. We're going to take a short break for the news. We'll be back on the other side. The tax lady from EG Tax, and we're talking about do this, not that, so that you don't overpay. And our last caller was mentioning that Darcy Lynn Farmer was mentioning their taxes on $1 million. Tiff and Chris pointed out that she really isn't getting the whole money, and she's getting $25,000 a year for 40 years. But it's $25,000 a year for 40 years.
Esther, you sound all like a mouse in a mouse trap.
You're breaking up
a lot.
I sound like a mouse.
Oh wait, there we go.
I sound like a mouse. Anyway, and before we go back to the phones, when you should do this, it would be if you're working out of your home, you should use a dedicated room. Right?
Room solely and exclusively used as an office, so you can take that office and home deduction if you are doing work out in your home.
Right, but if you like to work on your couch and your laptop is on your lap, can you take an office and home on your couch in your living room?
No.
That's right. So you want to make sure that you set up your office so that you can minimize, so that you can maximize your deduction. And it really just comes down to kind of cranking your head around. If you have to work out of your home and that's where you work, work like a professional in an office and you get a tax deduction, right?
Right. And then, going back to the first thing about employee business expenses, how many people do you have? I know where they said, oh, I could have got reimbursed, but I figured I'll just take it off on my tax return.
Oh, not good.
That's not good either, because then you can't take it off on your tax return, and it's too late to get it from your employer, so you just lost all that money.
That's exactly right, and you shoot yourself in the foot. Okay, let's go to Diane from Hamburg, who's been waiting for so long. Hi, Diane. Hello, Diane.
I just wanted to reiterate with you, you were mentioning about the STAR program for seniors, that they have to sign up every year?
Yep.
The Enhanced STAR.
Oh, enhanced. Well, see, okay, now I got STAR, and I'm...
But are you over 65?
I'm a senior. So should I have signed up, or would they have just sent me arbitrarily?
No, you have to go. Do you make, I think the income limit, a lot of it's $78,000 or less, not counting IRA.
Okay, but I did get the STAR check.
Right, you get the STAR, but you get an Enhanced STAR, which means you get more.
Because you're over the age of 65.
Oh.
And so you have to contact your town.
Go down to Hamburg with your tax return and show it to them so that you can, going forward, you'll get the money,
Enhanced.
the reduction.
Okay. See, I signed up last year. Wouldn't they have given me that last year? Or, I mean, it'll actually say enhanced star on that.
Yep, on your school property tax.
Right.
Okay, that you won't get the check?
No, that's a direct write-off off your property tax.
It's a reduced bill.
Reduced bill.
Okay.
So the only way you'll know, really, is to go to Hamburg and ask them what happened.
And then,
if they had you signed up for the STAR program,
for that,
as opposed to the enhanced STAR, you want to make sure that it's done properly.
Okay.
Okay?
Thank you.
Thank you, dear. I'm Esther Gullius, the tax lady, 8030930, 8030930, star 930 on your cell phone. Are we talking about do this, not that? Make sure if you have an employee that they're not giving you 100% of your wages, right? Because you need to be on a W-2 as opposed to being a freelance person. Right, guys?
That's right. When it sounds good. Oh, you're going to get $400 a week, and we're going to give you. That's what you're going to get. The straight check, no withholding. Well, that means you get stuck holding the bag come March when you file your return, and you get the income tax, and you have the extra 15.3% tax. So you're going to pay, if you're in the 15% bracket, you're going to pay 30% of that $400 instead of just the 15%. So it's going to cost you a lot of extra money.
So, and the thing is, if you're in a situation where the employer doesn't want you, they're saying, oh, we're just going to pay you on the side, you need to really give us a call, because that employer really is cheating you out. They're making you pay your own taxes, like Chris was saying, your own FICA. If you get injured on the job, you're not going to be able to get workers' comp. There's all kinds. You're not going to be able to get unemployment, and the employer is cheating. So you want to make sure that maybe you just have an employer who just started in business and they don't know that this is wrong. Well, it is, and we will help that employer. Or if you're an employer and you don't know what to do, EG Tax will help you, right?
Yep. And that's the employer. An employer may not even know they're doing something wrong. So
that's exactly right. We're not saying that this person hiring you is a crook. They may be, but maybe they're just ignorant, and we want to help them. And we'll help you, and we'll make the call to your employer. We'll say, we got Laura sitting here, and she is confused because she's getting 100% of her wages and no FICA withheld, no taxes withheld. Do you know how to do a payroll? And we'll help them get their payroll straight.
And then when you file your tax return, if you haven't done that, or if you think you've been treated the wrong way, there's actually a form you can fill out so you don't, half of the FIC and the Medicare can fall on the burden of the employer. You can actually make that correction on your tax return.
But that's not the best way to do it, because that means the IRS goes after them, and that's when kind of the poop hits the
right.
fan, the wall. So
yeah.
You want to make sure you straighten it out as soon as possible. All right, do this, not that. Overtime. How many times do we talk to people? They say, I don't want to work overtime because it's going to put me in a whole tax bracket. Should people work overtime if they
yes.
can?
Most definitely.
Yes.
Because why?
You're never going to pay more taxes than what you're going to make.
Never.
Exactly right. And we did a show last week about what tax bracket you're in. The next bracket you move to, only those few percentages over what you were paying in the last bracket is going to be taxed on the next bracket. So it's the lowest, then the next, and each bracket pays at its own rate. So if you went $3,000 into the next bracket and there were a 10% jump, it would only cost you $300 extra in taxes than you would have paid being in the old bracket. And if you could make $3,000 and pay an extra $300, hello.
Definitely. Right? Yeah. Come on. Give me the extra money. I'll pay the taxes.
That's exactly right. All right. And we are going to Linda. Hey, Linda, how can we help you, my dear?
Hi, I have a question about the Enhanced Star, Senior Star.
Yeah.
We just moved to Lockport, and I did apply for the Star, which will automatically go into Enhanced Star because of her age. But there's also the Senior Star. So I filled out all the paperwork, and I took it over, and they told me that she needed to be a resident, reside in her house for 1 year. Is that true?
Well, I mean, the senior star is the enhanced star.
But I had the application because I filled out the enhanced, but they said there was also a senior star.
I've never heard
That's
of that.
the enhanced.
To me, that was all one and the same.
Right. So what we should do is, if you want, Linda, call us at the office tomorrow, and we'll call the city. On Monday, excuse me. We'll call the city and double check what they're talking about.
About
might be a
being
special
in there
program.
for a year. We'll find out. I guess what we're saying is we don't know the answer, but we will find out for you.
Okay?
Okay. All right.
Call us at 632-7886, and there's no charge, okay?
Okay, thank you.
All right, thank you, dear. Yeah, I never heard about a senior star.
No.
All right. Do this, not that. Sign up for the company pension plan.
Oh, yeah.
Free money.
Right? It's especially if there's a match. If you don't sign up, a lot of people say, "Oh, I didn't want to because I don't know if the company's plan is good enough." If you put in 1,000 and you're making $40,000, let's say for instance, and the company matches the first 3%, that means that the first $1,200 they're going to give you as a match. And so if you put in 1,000, they're going to match 1,000. So I don't care how bad the plan is doing. If it's making 1%, you just made $1,000 in free money, which is 100% return.
Yeah,
right?
and you really never miss the money. After tax season this year, there was one of these young men, they do his return, and he came in because he was having difficulty signing up. It has to be online, and we did it together, and he doesn't miss the money, which is a wonderful thing.
Right.
And he's saving for his retirement.
Absolutely. All right, let's go back to the phones, and we have Al. Hi, Al. How can we help you?
Yeah, I have a question about the enhanced star or just doing your taxes, a joint return. What happens if you have a spouse that either has dementia or has some kind of physical inability to sign, the proper papers that you have to sign?
Aren't you a power of attorney?
Well, right now I don't. I mean...
All right, so the first thing I would suggest you do is that you talk to your attorney, call your attorney, and get a power of attorney so that you can sign for your spouse.
Oh, okay.
And by the way, that's something really important that everybody should think about, is that as we age, you never know when your spouse might be somebody that you're really going to need, and those kind of things you need to talk to your attorney about to make sure that you have all of those all that paperwork.
Or even your parent.
Or your parents. That's exactly right. Or your parents, if as they age and they trust you with their estate, you'd want to be able to have power of attorney.
Yep.
Right?
Thank you very much.
All right, thank you very much. I'm Esther Golias, the tax lady from EG Tax, 8030930, 8030930, star 930 on your cell phone. And I know we have calls waiting, but we're going to take a short break, and we'll be back with Do This, Not That on the other side of the break.
Just like the white-winged dove sings a song, sounds like she's singing. Ooh, ooh, ooh. Just like the white-winged dove sings a song, sounds like she's singing.
We're all just singing around, listening to the music.
Stevie Nicks.
EG Tax here, talking the do's and the don'ts of your income. Don't know where Esther went to. She's
right here.
Here she is.
Well, just in case anybody's wondering, I am in Florida because I came down to look at my house. And so you can see we just got the internet back last night. And Frank said to me, "Boy, you sound really bad." Well, hey, I thought last night we wouldn't even get the internet, but I guess it didn't make any difference. So I'm in Florida. I'm coming back to Buffalo tomorrow, but that's why I sound like Mickey Mouse. And so when you're in Florida, you're supposed to sound like Mickey Mouse. About do this, not that. If you're signed up for a cafeteria plan through your employer, like for instance with daycare, is that good?
95% of the time, yes, because between your Social Security tax, your income tax, and New York State tax, you're saving more than the credit is on your tax return.
So if you have an employer that has those kind of plans where you can put money in, which is tax free when you put that money in, it's saving you income tax, and the credits that you get, especially with daycare, end up being more beneficial when you have the employer plan. So if you have an employer who does cafeteria plans, look into that. That's another good thing, right?
Definitely.
Now, how about borrowing from your pension plan versus taking money out?
Borrow. Because if you take the money out, if you're under the age of 59 and a half, you pay tax on the federal, you pay tax on the state, and you pay the 10% penalty, whereas borrowing, that is not occurring, and when you pay it back, you're paying yourself interest. It's always a better plan.
Right. Or you have a card, and you think to yourself, what I'm going to do is I'm going to invade my pension plan and take money out of my pension plan and pay off my credit cards. And that sounds like a great plan, but it really is not the best thing to do. Your pension on New York State is holy. They allow you to do a bankruptcy and have a full pension plan when you're doing the state return, when you're doing the bankruptcy, because they want you to have money set aside from when you get older, and you need that money. So I think Dennis Kitchen advertises with us every week. He's an attorney that specializes in helping people to get a fresh start. And before you invade your pension plan, think about an alternative, because number one, you want to make sure you have that money when you retire, and number two, it's going to be, like Tiffany says, if you're under the age of 59 and a half, it's going to be taxable plus a penalty. Right?
Right.
That's right.
All right, why don't we go back to the phone? Is Howard available? Hi, Howard. How can we help you?
Well, I don't even know if you can or not, but anyways, I have, I think, a big predicament with New York State Sales Tax Bureau. I have a small business, my wife and I, and we've been collecting taxes for them for many, 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 many years, a few decades. And anyways, but we have two companies, okay, one that doesn't deal with sales tax, and the other one where we use to send all of our sales taxes. We keep them separated, all right? Well, my wife for years has done all the books. Okay, I knew exactly nothing. All I did is go out and make the living, and I left the rest up to her. Well, she died.
Oh.
And so I'm just a relatively short time ago, and I kind of am like a lost sheep here, and I'm trying to deal with the Sales Tax Bureau, and I guess they're not too kindly, I guess. And
well, I have to tell you, that's part of a service that we provide. I would suggest you call us, or I mean, I know that we'll be in your corner, but unless you got your own accountant. But what you really need is somebody to kind of handhold you through this process. Yeah. You guys agree with that?
Definitely. Yeah. We just helped somebody with a sales tax audit the other day, and we do sales tax returns all the time, and you have to know all the ins and outs.
Behind in my payments or anything, don't misunderstand me. It's just that when she died, technically of them, I wasn't even allowed to send the money in. If you don't send the money in, well, then you're in serious trouble from that end. And they wouldn't let me use my name. I kind of have to use her name, but I couldn't use her name because she died. And so I'm kind of caught between a rock and a hard place. And then there's some other issues which I don't even want to take time over the phone, but
you know what? Just one call us 632-7886. We'll take a look
on Monday
your situation on Monday, and
is that number?
Advise you
632 7886
7886.
Correct.
And ask for Chris or Tiffany, and we'll be there on Monday, and Esther will be there on Monday, and we will help you right away, pronto.
Okay, very good, because I'm still in the business. It's just that technically I'm collecting sales tax when I don't have a right to yet because
All right.
I have to refile under my own name that I can't do it under my own name, but I can't do that until some other. It's confusing. Okay, but I'd be happy to talk to you girls. All right, I listen to you a lot. All right.
Yeah, and the hard part is that you're the sales guy, or you're out there making the money, so now you have to wear this other hat, right?
Yes, and I have absolutely no clue what's.
Well, that's
Right.
our specialty.
That's what we're here for. We and be sensitive to the situation. And it really just sounds like
Call you Monday. We can kind of get together somehow.
Yep, we'll set up an appointment for you to come in, and we'll get you all straightened out.
Great. Okay, I will call you. Who do I ask for?
Chris or Tiffany?
Chris or Tiffany?
Yep, that's right.
Okay. Thank you, girls.
Thank you. Thanks, Howard. Sorry about your loss, most importantly.
really all we really need to do is we need to close the one sales tax and get him his own sales tax.
Correct.
Excuse me.
Maybe they have penalized him for filing late. I mean, it's really you doing things, in a certain.
And it's New York State, so they're going to make it as complicated as they can.
All right. And then we're going to go to our next caller.
And it's Julie from Clarence.
Julie.
Hi, thank you so much. And Esther, I wish your friend the best of luck. It's horrible.
Oh, thank you.
Horrible.
Florida a week before that happened, thank goodness. But,
anybody that wants to volunteer, if you have groups of people that, because a lot of times contractors, there is a desperate need down in the Keys. But what can we help you with, Julie?
I have a question. I was an RN. I technically am, but back in 2010, I was assaulted by a patient. I have not worked since. My workers' comp has now reached the limit, and the only thing I am getting is Social Security disability, but unfortunately, I also lost 3 children in the process, and that money now goes to their support. So I have absolutely no income. My question to you is, probably by the first couple months of 2018, I will have to go out of state and live with my son. And I'm wondering, since I am disabled, I'm sorry, my speech messes up sometimes, will he be able to somehow use that with his taxes? I know I have to be there at least 6 months, but for next year's taxes, will I be able to help him?
So you want to know if he could claim you on your returns. So he has to, there's the dependency test. He has to provide more than 50% of your support. And so will he provide more than 50% of your support for 2017, 18?
Because I have no income whatsoever.
All right. So first of all, you don't have to. He can live in a home you provide, and if you live in a home he provides, and he provides over 50% of your support, which it sounds like he's providing all of your support, and you're a relative and you live in the United States, and you're a citizen, then he should be able to claim you as a dependent. How are you living with no money?
She gets some Social Security, right?
The Social Security is gone.
To the kids.
The savings that I had, which is going to be out probably within 3 or 4 months. That's it.
So Social Security took away your check, or you're just giving it to your kids to help them?
I didn't have a choice. They gave them X amount, and it wasn't enough to cover the full what I'm required to pay. So the 200 something that's left that they were giving me, I have to then turn over to their dad because it wasn't enough to cover.
All right.
COVID.
All right. So it sounds to me like so your son is supporting you, correct? Right now.
I'm living on just what I have left
for savings,
and it's going to last me about 3 months.
And so
be
living on your savings.
In 2018, he might be able to claim her, is what it sounds like.
But you're living right now on your savings, correct?
Correct, which is going to run out.
So now you're self-supporting. He's not giving you any money right now, right?
No.
He's not paying the rent. He didn't make the car payments, nothing like that.
No, I wouldn't. No.
So in 2017, he wouldn't be able to claim you. Once you're living with him and he's giving actual money towards your support, then you can, if he's single, he'd be able to be head of the household and he could claim you as a dependent. What I'd suggest you do is call us at the office and then we'll go over your particular situation, because it seems to me that social services ought to help you and have some money, some substantial money in savings. But we'd love to help you, so give us a jingle, okay?
All right, can I ask you one more question? Would this in any way, living with him, help him with his student loans, or no?
Income-based
Good luck.
averaging.
No,
When they do income-based averaging, they look at all your expenses, and so his expenses would be higher if he pays with
It might a little.
If he pays with income-based averaging.
But not much. It's not going to be, it would not be a large thing.
Savings.
You know. But I would suggest you call us. We'll be very happy to help you. Okay, dear?
All right, I really, really appreciate it, and best of luck to your friend. I'll be praying for her. Thank you.
Thanks a lot.
Praying for you.
Well, I'm Esther Golias, the tax lady from EG Tax. 8030930 is our phone number. Star 930 on the cell phone, but unfortunately we just have a couple minutes left. Do this, not that. Make sure you do your wills and you protect all your assets. What you don't want to do is pass away and not have your assets directed. Otherwise, New York State has to do it. Also, you want to do life estates. If you're somebody that has a home you want to do it through a life estate rather than gifting it directly, because then your children or whoever is you're gifting the assets when they sell it.
And we'll see you next Saturday. Same place.
It's the tax lady. See you next Saturday. Bye bye. Have a good week.